All right, ready to peek into the future.
Always.
Today we're diving deep into whether AI will completely revolutionize product management,
Hmm.
or even just straight up gobble it whole.
Eat it for breakfast.
Exactly. We're going to be looking at some blog posts
Okay.
from Asamhav Solutions.
Have solutions, all right?
They're a software development company,
Okay.
and they've got some thoughts, some pretty bold predictions about AI and the future of work.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not a product manager yourself,
Yeah.
this deep dive is going to give you a glimpse into how AI is shaking things up, like
Yeah,
across all sorts of industries and roles.
totally. One of the things that really jumped out at me from these blog posts
Yeah.
was just how bold, like how upfront they were with their predictions.
Okay.
Like they flat out say 80%.
80%.
80% of a product manager's tasks could be automated within the next 5 years.
Okay, no, that's a pretty serious number.
It is.
I know AI is getting really sophisticated these days. But are we really talking about AI that can handle, like, that much of a product manager's workload?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, a lot of what product managers do
Right.
involves like combing through tons of data,
Yeah.
trying to spot trends, identify growth areas.
Right.
AI is already really good at that,
Right.
the whole data crunching and analysis part.
Sure.
But it's getting even more impressive. We're talking about AI that can forecast future trends,
Wow.
map out entire product roadmaps, even suggest features based on what it's learned from user data.
That's a lot to wrap my head around.
It is.
So on the one hand, it's kind of mind-blowing to think about all that tedious work being taken care of by AI,
Totally.
freeing up human product managers to think more strategically,
Right.
focus on the big picture.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you have to wonder, does that mean product managers become obsolete?
Right, and that's where it gets more nuanced.
Okay.
What these blog posts emphasize is that this isn't just about swapping humans for robots.
Right.
It's about reshuffling tasks, creating new roles,
Yeah.
and potentially even like fusing together different roles.
Interesting.
Like you might see aspects of product management,
Uh,
UX design, and engineering all blended into new kinds of hybrid roles.
this whole idea of roles being blended or redistributed, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it's not like product management has always had this super clear-cut job description anyway, right?
Exactly. The lines have always been a bit blurry.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it all. Startups where the founders are wearing every hat, including the product manager hat,
Sure.
or engineering-driven companies where engineers take on a lot of those responsibilities.
You're right. There's so much variation.
Yeah.
And AI could accelerate that kind of evolution even more.
How so?
Well, think about a company with strong engineering leadership.
Okay.
The engineers are often the ones closest to the technical possibilities
Yeah,
and to the user feedback that's coming in.
that's true.
So AI could give them even more data, even more insights, which could really blur those lines between engineering and product management.
So AI could act as this catalyst that pushes companies to like rethink how they
Yeah.
organize product development from the ground up.
Absolutely.
This isn't just about product managers then, is it? It's
No.
like anyone involved in creating or managing products,
Mhm.
business managers, UX designers, engineers,
Yeah.
they're all potentially impacted by this.
Totally. And I think that's where it gets really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Even for those of us who aren't in product management.
Okay.
Take UX design, for example.
Right.
AI is already being used to personalize user interfaces.
Really?
Yeah, even generate design elements.
Wow.
So a UX designer's role might shift from creating everything from scratch
Okay.
to more like curating and refining those AI-generated designs,
Interesting.
focusing on the emotional resonance, the overall human experience.
So AI handles the more technical, maybe repetitive stuff,
Yeah,
leaving humans to focus on the things that require that creativity, that empathy. Right. That deep understanding of human needs and how they interact with technology.
exactly.
So even if my job title isn't disappearing entirely, it sounds like AI is going to reshape
It will.
how I work, how I collaborate, the skills I need to actually thrive.
Yeah, you're really hitting on a key insight here.
Okay.
This isn't just about technology changing. It's about how we define work itself, like fundamentally.
I like that.
And here's what I find really fascinating. The blog posts argue that AI actually makes those distinctly human skills
Okay.
more valuable, not less.
Color me intrigued. What kind of skills are we talking about here?
We're talking about things that even the most advanced AI still struggles with.
Okay.
Strategic vision, empathy, creative problem solving, ethical decision-making.
Those are big ones.
They are. And as AI takes on more of those routine tasks, these human skills become the real differentiators.
So it's not a case of humans versus AI. It's
Wow.
more about humans and AI like working together, almost like a partnership.
Exactly. And the blog posts actually lay out what that kind of synergy could look like in practice.
Do tell.
They talk about how the roles of business leaders, UX leaders, and engineers will all evolve in this AI-powered world.
Give me some examples. Like, what does this actually look like?
Well, for example, business leaders will need to become, as the blog posts call it, strategic orchestrators.
Okay, I like that.
Instead of getting bogged down in the nitty-gritty of data analysis, their role will be more about interpreting
Right.
AI insights, but within a larger context, aligning those insights with the company's overall goals, anticipating future market shifts.
So less about crunching numbers.
Yeah.
It's more about like thinking strategically, understanding the nuances of the market,
Exactly.
making those big picture decisions.
Right. AI might be able to tell you that a certain product feature is declining in popularity,
Sure.
but it's the human leader who can understand why that's happening,
Right.
what it means for the company's strategy, and how to adapt effectively.
It's like AI becomes this super powerful advisor, but the ultimate decision making, the direction, that still rests with the human leader.
Exactly.
But what about UX leaders? Where do they fit into all of this?
In this AI-powered future, the blog post suggests that UX leaders will become champions for the human experience.
I like that.
As products and services rely more and more on algorithms, UX leaders will need to ensure that those products still resonate with users on an emotional level, on a functional level.
It's about making sure we don't end up in this world where everything is super efficient,
Yeah,
but also kind of soulless, right?
exactly.
Like where AI optimizes everything to the point where it loses that human touch.
Right. UX leaders will need to advocate for that human element, ensuring that AI is used to enhance, not diminish, the user experience.
So we've talked about business leaders, UX leaders. What about engineers? How does their role change in this new world?
They'll be the ones who are really on the front lines of collaboration with AI. Taking those strategic visions, those human-centered designs, and translating them into reality.
I can see that.
So instead of seeing AI as a threat, they'll be partnering with it, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's not about being replaced, it's about evolving, right?
Yeah.
Evolving alongside these incredible new tools.
You got it. And the blog posts make a really important point about all these roles.
Yeah.
That continuous learning is going to be absolutely essential.
I can see that.
Because the pace of AI development is so fast.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable. You have to constantly be upgrading your skills.
Right. It's almost like AI is forcing us all to become lifelong learners, to be more agile and adaptable than ever before.
Absolutely.
This is a lot to take in, but it's also incredibly exciting.
It is.
What's one question you think our listeners should really be pondering
Okay.
as we continue this deep dive?
I think the big question is, what does it really mean to thrive in this world where humans and AI are so intertwined? How do we harness the power of AI while making sure it serves humanity?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that we're definitely going to keep exploring as we continue this deep dive into the future of work.
For sure. You know, it's interesting. These blog posts, they tend to focus a lot on the positives of AI.
Like it's all going to be sunshine and roses, right?
Right. Humans and AI working together in perfect harmony.
Right.
But I think we need to talk about the other side of the coin, too. Like, what are some of the potential downsides?
Let's get a little bit pessimistic, shall we?
Yeah, let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay, so let's say I'm a CEO. I've bought into all the AI hype.
Right.
I'm ready to automate everything, let the algorithms run the show. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, I think one of the biggest risks is over-reliance on AI without really understanding its limitations.
Like what?
Well, AI is only as good as the data it's trained on, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
So that data is biased, incomplete, inaccurate. The AI's output is going to reflect those flaws.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can imagine, like, an AI that's trained on data that underrepresents certain demographics or reflects historical inequalities.
Right.
The insights it generates could actually perpetuate those biases, leading to unfair or even discriminatory outcomes.
So it's not enough to just like plug in the AI and expect it to magically solve all our problems.
Exactly. We need to be really critical of the data that it's using.
Sure.
and be aware of those potential biases that can creep in.
It's that old saying, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But even if you have good data, isn't there still a risk of misinterpreting
Oh, for sure.
what the AI is actually telling us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
AI can provide these valuable data points,
Uh-huh.
but it's still up to humans to interpret them
Yeah.
within the context of, the market, the company's goals,
Right.
and also human values.
That reminds me of this whole issue of explainability in AI. Like, if an AI makes a recommendation, but we don't really understand why,
Right.
how it arrived at that conclusion,
Yeah.
can we really trust it? Especially when we're talking about decisions that have a real impact on people's lives.
It's a huge challenge. And as those algorithms get more complex, it actually becomes even harder to understand those decision-making processes.
So it's kind of like, that's a good analogy.
It's like getting driving directions from a GPS
Okay.
without understanding the map.
Okay. Yeah.
You might end up at the right destination,
Yeah.
but you could miss some crucial landmarks along the way.
Yeah.
Or even take a detour down a dangerous road.
Right. Because you don't actually know
Right.
how the GPS is making those decisions.
Exactly.
And whether those decisions are actually in your best interest.
Right.
So you're at the mercy of the algorithm.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a great analogy. But let's not forget about the impact on jobs.
Yeah, that's right.
Even if AI doesn't lead to like mass unemployment, it's definitely going to change the nature of a lot of jobs.
For sure.
And there's a chance it could displace workers who haven't like kept up
Yeah.
and adapted their skills.
It's a tough reality to face.
Yeah.
Because we could talk about these exciting new roles emerging, but what about the people whose jobs are actually being automated away?
Yeah, exactly.
We need to think about how we can support those workers.
Yeah.
Provide training and reskilling opportunities.
Give them a way to adapt and thrive
Exactly.
in this new AI-powered world.
And make sure that the benefits of AI are shared widely.
Yeah.
And don't just exacerbate those existing inequalities.
It's almost like we need a societal-level product roadmap
Yeah.
to figure out how to navigate this transition in a way that benefits everyone.
Exactly. It's not just a technological challenge.
Right.
It's a societal challenge.
It requires careful planning, forward-thinking policies, a real commitment to inclusive growth.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
what's the one question you really want our listeners to grapple with?
What's the big takeaway?
How can we ensure that AI's development and deployment are aligned with human values? How do we create a future where AI enhances our lives,
Yeah.
promotes fairness, and expands opportunities for everyone?
It's a question that deserves careful consideration from all of us, not just the tech experts, right?
Absolutely.
We've talked about a lot of the potential benefits and some of the risks of AI, but it seems like a lot of this really boils down to trust, doesn't it?
Trust is huge. Yeah.
Can we trust AI to make like fair and ethical decisions? Can we trust the companies that are developing AI to actually prioritize, human well-being over profit?
Those are the big questions.
They are big questions, and it makes me think back to the source material we've been talking about. These blog posts from us on Bob Solutions, remember, they're a company that sells AI solutions.
They do.
So they definitely have, like, a vested interest. Yeah.
In promoting the positive side of AI.
Right. They're not exactly a neutral party.
They're not.
Makes you wonder, can a company that profits from AI also be a truly objective voice when it comes to responsible AI development?
That's a really good point. And it seems like that's a tension that's only going to grow as AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
Absolutely.
So as individuals, it sounds like we need to be really careful and discerning about the information we're consuming about AI.
We can't just passively accept all the promises.
Right.
We need to be actively thinking about those ethical and societal implications.
So informed skepticism is key.
It's essential. Don't just buy into the hype.
Right.
Dig deeper. Ask those tough questions.
But what can we do beyond just being informed?
Okay.
Are there actual actions we can take as individuals to help make sure AI is being used responsibly?
Absolutely. I think one of the most important things is to support those organizations and initiatives
that are really pushing for ethical AI development, ethical AI regulations.
Okay, so like put our money where our mouth is, support the good guys.
Yeah, exactly.
But also it sounds like it's about having these conversations
Yes.
with our friends, family, colleagues.
The more we talk about it,
Right.
the more likely it is that those issues are going to be addressed by policymakers,
Yeah.
by industry leaders.
It's like collective action, right? We can't just expect someone else to figure this out for us.
We all have a role to play.
So it sounds like we're at this really crucial juncture.
We are.
We have this incredibly powerful technology, but we need to make some wise choices about how we use it.
It's true.
The decisions we're making right now are going to shape the future of AI.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think, the future of humanity.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive.
Another one, Gail.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a mix of excitement and, honestly, a little bit of overwhelm.
It's a lot.
Thinking about all the things we've discussed.
It is, but that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah.
To spark that curiosity, encourage critical thinking, and equip you with the knowledge to navigate this complex and ever-changing world.
Exactly. And before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked about how AI could reshape existing roles, but what about the possibility of, like, entirely new jobs emerging? Jobs that we can't even imagine right now?
That's a great question.
It is a big question.
Yeah.
What would those jobs look like? What skills would they require?
Right.
How do we prepare for a future of work that is still so unknown?
It's a reminder that this conversation is just the beginning.
It is.
The future of AI is full of possibility.
It is.
It's exciting, but it's also uncertain.
So keep those brains buzzing, folks. And until next time, happy diving.